Welcome back. Now, South Africa's road infrastructure is in a state of disrepair. Recent heavy rains and flooding in some parts of the country are accelerating what is already a rapid decline. Now, the Department of Transport is embarking on a national roadshow to fix potholes and road infrastructure. The initiative is aimed at improving the quality of our roads and keeping them properly maintained. Will this plan arrest the decline, or rather address the decline? Let's get more perspective from the Transport Department Spokesperson, Collen Msibi, who joins us now in studio. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Msibi. We do appreciate it. It's very obvious the roads are in a complete state. The recent floods that we had just last year, obviously exacerbating the situation. I think it's rather obvious why you're going on this roadshow and initiative, but what are you hoping to achieve from this?
Well, thanks for the opportunity. Quite correctly, I mean, we're the first to admit that our roads, especially provincial roads and municipal roads, are in quite a bad state. And most of part of the most difficult part of it is that the potholes are just making things very difficult for us. So this particular roadshow, it is necessitated by the Presidential Coordinating Council, which met this past week, where it was quite clear that we needed to focus on the road infrastructure throughout the country. We are starting in the Free State to see the kind of work that is being done. You'd recall that the issue of pothole, we launched a campaign called Vala Zonke last year. So that is being implemented by Sanral. So part of what we are going to inspect or to do an oversight on is the issue of how far have we gone with that specific project. But also we need to speak to provinces in terms of the funding of this particular drive, because part of it is that we give money to the provinces to say, here's the money to fix or to maintain the roads. But sometimes we do not see where this money is going. So, which is why we then have to go and engage with the provinces to then get it from the horse's mouth as to what exactly happens with the money that we give them.
So you speak about this money that has been given to various provinces, and you often don't know where it's going to. That's very concerning. Which province is, if I can use the word, underspending and not sufficiently spending money to maintain roads? Are you able to tell us at this
Look,
point?
I wouldn't go into those details because that's the part of the discussions we want to have. We give about 12 billion rand as part of the provincial road maintenance grant to the provinces to say, part of this money must then go into that specific work. You would find that part of it is being spent, but half of it or something, it goes into other areas where it's not supposed to be spent on. Similar to other issues of IPTNs, which is a BRT system. We need to then go, the minister has to have a conversation with the provinces to say, how best can we use this money so that we are able to fix the state of our roads? But we also need to engage with the private sector because, for instance, the mining communities, we would need to engage the companies that are based there to say, what is it that they can do to come on board to be able to assist us to fix the state of our roads?
But if you're saying 12 billion rand is being given provincially to address roads, that's a lot of money. I want to speak about, I know you don't want to go into details because this roadshow and this initiative is going to focus on the many issues here, and you're going to be able to really get down to the most concerning or underspending province. But which province needs the most and urgent attention? I mean, I've heard stories, and I've actually experienced it myself, of areas in KZN, even in the Eastern Cape, where there's just absolutely no road infrastructure there. And obviously it's exacerbated in other provinces where roads just have never been maintained, the potholes are huge. Which province, from your preliminary assessment, before you go on this roadshow, is of great concern for you?
No, you're quite correct. I mean, the Free State is one of the provinces which are quite bad, especially when it comes to the issues of potholes. And that's basically the reason why we're actually even starting there. But also, Eastern Cape is part of the list, and of course KZN. But I mean, some of the provinces, they try their best to channel this money that we give them to maintain their roads. But as I said, this has now become a national priority to say, what is it that we can do using our own agency, which is Sanral, to come on board to be able to assist the provinces? More so in as far as the reclassification of some of the roads, which are important for the economy. For instance, they're sitting at 22,000 kilometers of roads which belong to SANRAL. So we are saying that we're going to push that to 25,000. But the provinces must work with us so that they reclassify some of these roads and then they become part of the national roads. The problem is not necessarily national roads. The problem, as I said, it is provincial roads. And hence, it is so important for the minister to then go and hear where do we need to intervene when it comes to the actual cutting of the cake and putting this money to dedicate it into the maintenance of the roads. Some of the roads, you would need to completely remove the roads so that you can restart it again. It's not just the issue of the potholes.
Yeah, I mean, I find it very concerning, though, that, Mr. Msibi, that, 12 billion rand is allocated and people are subjected to the worst kind of roads, potholes that have been there for ages, signage that's been stolen. It's not acceptable, especially if so much money is being allocated. And I want to know why it's taken so long for this roadshow or this initiative to take place. Surely you are aware, you see the budget that's allocated. You, as the national department, you allocate the 12 billion rand. Surely you should hold the provinces accountable and the various MECs to say, but you're underspending, you're not fixing the roads. What's going on here? You've just had 11 people die in the Eastern Cape because of the roads, the state of the roads.
Okay. Well, let's not create an impression that this money is not being spent. Let me say that
it's being spent. I respect that it's being spent, but I mean, if it's not being spent adequately, that is also a problem.
Yes, to be channeled to the right things. For instance, as I said, the priority even for cabinet is the issue of potholes, but also to check on the provincial roads. So we need to have that discussion as to how do we then reprioritize the budget that we give so that we can then focus on this priority which has been put by cabinet and the president to say, you need, as transport, focus on this thing, fix it. Otherwise, it is a problem for the economy of the country. So we're saying that it's not that they are not spending the money, but we need to have this dialogue with the provinces to say, okay, how far have we gone? Let's see what is it that we've delivered with this money. Where you haven't, tell us what are the problems so that we can intervene as a National Department of Transport. So that is the kind of debate or discussions that we're going to have, closed meetings where they can present to us candidly without having to lie to us. And when we go out and see what exactly they are talking about. But that's not to say they haven't been giving us the report to say, these are the number of people we've employed. For instance, the past financial year, 76,000 jobs were created. Out of that, about 200,000 women were employed. So those are figures that are coming out of the provinces. They are not manufacturing them. We've seen it. But we need to then say, here is the priority of cabinet. What is it that we do with the money that we have, an equitable share as a province? What is it that we can put into this pot so that we're able to fix the roads, we're able to fix the potholes? So that's basically the assignment. That's why the minister is starting in the Free State, is going to go to all the other provinces so that we can address this matter.
Okay, great. Thank you for that clarity. And how long is this roadshow going to take?
Well, I don't have the dates off the top of my head, but we're looking, I think, about 3 months from now. We're going to be going to all the provinces. And we're basically doing that. And I think out of it is not just a talk shop, being closed in the boardrooms. We also want to go out on the road to see the work that is being done. And that's exactly what we're going to do from tomorrow.
Certainly. Since I've got you here, Mr. Msibi, I would like to ask you about your response to what happened at Maponya Mall, Soweto on Thursday night. It's very concerning that you have allegations of a possible taxi conflict with Uber and Bolt drivers, but also how there could be a possibility of unregistered, and if I can call them illegal, Bolt and Uber drivers that are offering cheaper rides to customers, and then the registered Uber and Bolt drivers are suffering because of this. There was terrible violence that erupted in Soweto on Thursday night. And many of the associations and the Uber drivers are saying that the department needs to intervene because Uber and Bolt are not running a company that understands the concerns on the ground. As a national department, what is your response to this?
Well, first of all, we want to denounce. The minister has issued a statement coming out strongly to denounce what has happened, but also to call on the law enforcement officers or agencies to make sure that there's investigation and those who are responsible are brought to book. That is one part. The second part, our response is very simple. The National Land Transport Amendment Bill is before Parliament as we speak. The final consultations are happening up to the 9th of June in the Eastern Cape. Once that is done, it is going back to Parliament for final endorsement. After that, it is then going to go to the President for signing. So we are saying the solution to all this is the regulations that must be put in place. So once the act or the bill is passed, it then gives us the handle to say, these are the regulations that we are going to introduce. We need to look at the kind of standards that must be put in place in as far as the vehicles that must be operated, the issues of the requirements when you apply for the operating licenses. But also, what is coming out strongly is the issue of pricing. We hear that, but that it allows the kind of competition that we need in the market so that it is a benefit for the users of this particular service. So we are saying that once that act is passed, the bill is passed, it then gives us that particular, what you call leverage in terms of ensuring that we implement the regulations. We are going to consult with the industry so that whatever is carried in the regulations, they are part of it, and they've contributed towards ensuring that the regulations come into play.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks so much for your time this evening, and we wish you all the best with your roadshow, because I think it's a very important one given the state of our roads. Thank you so much for your time. That was, of course, Collen Msibi, who is from the Transport Department.